next
Foreign
one
na?
is so here for this global map. That's where you can find the different kinds of grasslands. So there are also different types of grasslands. You have what we call the prairies, what we call the
Prairies.
pustas, and the steppes. No, and then you also have the Australian savanna. That's also called a grassland. African savanna as well. No, so African savanna where you can find the giraffes, where you can find the zebra. No, kind of the
Wow.
lion and the lions, sometimes the cheetahs. Okay.
Wow.
And when you go to the south, this one,
Duka
when you go to
ami
the
ha.
South America, the lower part is called the Pampas, no? And here,
Oh my
the
god.
Campus. For the winter part
Ang
of
kalkya!
Australia, going
Wait.
is hotter because it's near the equator as compared to the other parts in Australia. You have the Australian savanna, and then you also have the downs. Okay, the savannas are basically uh, here in these parts near the equator. Then you have the temperate areas. These are the lighter green. No? Diri ang equator there. Diri. Na ang Philippines, this is the equator.
Kabayo.
Okay. Okay. So generally, there are two categories or types of the grasslands. You have the tropical grasslands, no? In the tropical grasslands, anyone who would like to read for what the tropical grasslands are, Cardenio.
So the first type of grassland is a tropical grassland. These are regions in the tropical area do not receive enough rainfall to support extensive tree cover, thus forming grasslands. These grasslands are also known as savanna. These areas are dry but not as much as the desert areas. For example, Sahel is south of the Sahara in East Africa and in Australia.
All right, so muna siya, ang classifications of the tropical grasslands practically dry. Munang these are the kind of grasses that you can find in areas that are a little bit nearer the equator. How about temperate grasslands? Anyone? Anyone? Montejo.
Kumanta siya.
In temperate grasslands, these grasslands are found in the mid-latitude region and in the interior parts of the continents where the rainfall is low to moderate. These grasslands are known by different names in different regions of the world, such as pampas in Argentina, downs in Australia, prairies in central North American plains, pustas in Hungary,
Steps.
steppes in Russia po, and velds in South Africa. The annual precipitation ranges from 25 centimeter to 75 centimeter, most of which is in the form of snow, and temperature variation is high as these regions experience hot summer and cold winters.
Yeah, okay. So we say hot summer, but it's not as hot as when you are in the tropical area, no? So these are the temperate grasslands, and as mentioned, two general categories or two types of grasslands. Okay. Then the next one, now you have the desert ecosystem. Anyone who would like to volunteer to read more, to read what's on the slide about the desert ecosystem? Abigail.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. So,
Good
a
afternoon.
desert ecosystem. A grassland is a type of terrestrial. Oh, ay, bitaw. A grassland is a type of terrestrial ecosystem that is. I joke. Sorry, sir. Deserts are
Nandiyan.
these regions that receive an extremely low amount of rainfall, which is less than 25 annually, resulting in a less vegetation compared to humid areas. This type of terrestrial ecosystem experiences a wide range of temperature and climate variations. The desert ecosystem can again be categorized into two types: hot deserts and cold deserts. Some of the important deserts of the world are as follows. Kani o kana? Oh, sorry.
Kaning two. Yeah, so this one isn't the Sahara Desert, but if you notice na siya water because very rare though, but it also rains. Tamay kanta na, no? kind of snows and kind of, yeah, even if it's in the Sahara, sometimes, no, very rarely though, nag-rain. But in the last, kasi ganito na in news 2 years ago, that there was a flooding in the Middle East because it rained so hard, and I think that might actually change sa tawag the area. That may change the area, and climate change itself is actually changing the ecosystems of the world. We dili pa siya noticeable now, but in the long run it may actually change because it changes the dynamics of the like hydrological cycles, and it will affect, of course, the the precipitation itself. And this one is in Latin America. No, there are portions as well there that are dry. Or even in the US, in the Midwest, for example, there are areas that are kind of desert. No, sa mga movies that you can find kanang cowboys, and you can see this kind of cactus. No,
Texas.
this kind of cactus in the Midwest.
Cactus in
So that's
Texas.
the kind
Ganyan.
of place that you can
Oh,
find in these areas with low precipitation and sometimes hot, sometimes very hot, but in some areas very cold as well,
gutom ko eh.
limiting the because of the topographical location, limiting the precipitation. And at times you can find water sources in the area in the desert, and what do we call that? Kanang na ay water sources where you can also find some plumping plants. It starts with the O, oasis, no? Oasis.
Charis.
So there are oases that you can also find, even
Session.
if it's desert, you can also find water
Nag-record nun din
water
yung
sources there, but
sorry.
limited and very patchy. Now, so this is an example of these are the locations, the different locations of the deserts of the world, no? Deserts of
Wow.
the world. So you have the Nubian desert here, the Sahara, where you can find the
Arabian.
Sahara. You also have the Arabian desert. So there are several deserts. And here, the
Somali
mid-latitude
desert.
desert, the Turkestan desert, no? And in Australia, they also
Gobi
have that.
desert.
That's where you can also find the Devil's Neck.
Chihuahuan
So these are
desert.
the different
Oh,
locations of the deserts. Na ay desert
chay.
up north, that's this in this area, these are the cold deserts, kaning areas diri sa
Oh,
babaw. And also in these areas, these are the cold deserts. And often here near the equator, these are the dry or hot. Both are dry, but hot kind of deserts. Okay, so the Kankak deserts, no, located in different kinds of areas, in the different parts of the world. Australia, in Africa, there is one in the southern part of Africa, also in the northern part of Africa, and northeast of Africa, and also in the European continent. That's in Russia, and then left side you have southernmost. You have the Monte Desert. Then you also have this strip in Peru, the Peruvian Desert. Then a little bit patchy here, and then in the Americas here, and some part in the Midwest. This one is, I think, it's in the Vegas area. No, these are the desert areas in the Americas. Okay, so since these are the hot deserts and the cold deserts in the temperate, no, and I think these are similar to the previous ones. Rainfall in these areas, well, ecosystem is very low.
just say
So
it.
practically, the kind of ecosystem is highly influenced by the amount of water it is
You
receiving
want
through
my
precipitation. No? Low precipitation likely become desert. Can be
Ay,
hot, can be cold. Okay.
wow.
Then the tundra ecosystem. Who would like to read?
May.
Si AJ from his gift, Gallarino, Galarido.
Can you hear me? Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Okay. Tundra ecosystem. These ecosystems are found in those areas that have long, severe cold winters and very short, cool summers. Tundra means barren land, but it is extremely hard to survive in these conditions. These terrestrial ecosystems have very low precipitation of less than 25 cm and take place in the form of snow. There are two types of tundra: Arctic tundra and alpine tundra.
So these are the kind of tundras, no? So these are very cold areas, very short, cool summers only, and long, cold winters. So these are the kinds of organisms, other kind of ecosystems that you can find. All right. To my next. So major categories.
Oh, ano tayo bugas?
Major categories I would like to
Sige,
read.
dude. Tutda nga lang akong naong. Pagka.
I would like to read Magdalene.
Magdali.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Three categories based on their locations. Number one, Arctic tundra occurs in the far northern hemisphere at latitudes higher than 60, 60 degrees north as part of North America, Eurasia, and Greenland. The second one is Antarctic tundra is found in the far southern hemisphere, mostly on the Antarctic and subantarctic islands such as South Georgia, the South Sandwich Islands, and the Kerguelen Islands. There is also a small area of tundra on the Antarctic Peninsula. And the last one is the alpine tundra is found at high altitudes on the tops of mountains such as the Western Cordillera of North America, the Alps in Europe, the Himalayas in Asia, the Andes in South America, and the Eastern Rift Mountains in Africa. The low temperatures, scarce rainfall, and windy conditions in these locations means that they also qualify as tundras even though they are not in polar regions.
Yes. So in the literature, the alpine tundra is a recent addition. I say recent doesn't have to be last year, a decade ago, um, because they realized that even if it's not either in the poles, in the south or the north pole, or not near that, because of the characteristics that they are at a high altitude, I mean, and very, very cold, and the climatic conditions. So these kind of ecosystems in the high altitude can also qualify as tundra. So now we have three categories. We have the Arctic tundra. Those are the areas near the northern hemisphere, the North Pole, and as well the other one in the Nash is the South Pole, so that's basically the Antarctic tundra. Then you have the Alpine up there on the highest and the very high altitude in Himalayas and some in Andes as well. There is also one in Africa, okay, in the Americas, in Europe, in Asia, South America, and in Africa. So different
Asia,
continents. You can also
Africa,
find these different kinds,
North and South
these tundras,
America,
tundra ecosystems. No, especially the
Antarctica,
alpine tundras.
Europe, and
All right.
finally
Then,
Australia.
um, as a kind of a summary, no, as kind of a summary, terrestrial ecosystem are land-based ecosystems primarily structured by the climate. Of course, when I say climate, two major abiotic factors influencing in terms of climate, the temperature and the precipitation. Then at the same time, the soil type, which actually influence the kind of vegetation. No, the kind of the kind of vegetation is the kind of plants that will grow in the area because of the temperature. It can be high, very low, or in the middle. The precipitation can be high or low in the middle. Soil type, soil definitely is an influence. In Cebu, for example, the type of soil that we have is karst, Karst. I think it's similar to Bohol as well, no? The Bohol has this kind of soil. Kaya ganun anapog. So majorly, Cebu is anapog in a way. But of course, there are some portions that are fertile in Busay, in Malaguet. in Busay or in Dalaget.